What if I told you that in your home right now, there are items that could be the difference between life and death? Items that people will be willing to kill for after the collapse. Hit like if you want to know the whole truth. Subscribe, because what you learned today could save your family tomorrow. Not everyone is ready to hear this, but you are. When the collapse comes, the biggest threat will not come from strangers. It will come from the people who live next door to you. The same neighbors who waved to you today may be looting your supplies tomorrow. And in times of desperation, the smallest, most ordinary things in your home can become something they would do anything for. In this video, we reveal 6 everyday items that you'll need to protect. Because when it becomes known that you have them, you may become their main target. So stay tuned. And if you're serious about being one step ahead when it all falls apart, be sure to subscribe before we get started. Number 1, clean drinking water. When the taps stop working, society will stop functioning. You can survive for weeks without food, but without water. 3 days. And the body starts to shut down. That's why during a complete collapse, clean drinking water instantly becomes the most valuable resource you have, and the first thing your neighbors will start looking for. Here's the hard truth that most people don't think about. As soon as the power goes out, city water systems start to lose pressure. In a few hours, air will start coming out of the taps, and the reservoirs that fed your city will dry up. Then despair sets in. Families will start looking anywhere. People will turn to streams, puddles, even drainage ditches, anything wet to stay alive. And if they know you have water jerry cans at home, you're not just keeping yourself hydrated, you're keeping a target on your back. It's easy to underestimate how quickly rumors spread during a crisis. The neighbor you casually mentioned your water supplies to 6 months ago will remember every detail. The delivery guy who saw the stack of gallon jerry cans in your garage, he'll remember too. When panic sets in, these memories turn into road maps that lead directly to your door. And here's the best part. Water is needed not only for drinking. During a collapse, you'll need it for cooking, treating wounds, diluting medicines, and even basic hygiene. This means that your supplies will run out much faster than you think. The average person needs at least 1 gallon per day, and that's the minimum for survival. A family of 4, that's 28 gallons for just 1 week. Now imagine trying to hide such supplies when desperate eyes are watching. So how do you protect it? First, never store all your water in one place. Distribute it around the house, shed, and even bury containers in the yard. That way, if someone finds some of your supplies, they won't get all of it. Second, keep the containers nondescript. Forget the shiny survival barrels that scream prepper. Instead, use old juice, soda bottles, or opaque containers. They blend in with the environment, and in a crisis, blending in is everything. If you can, have a backup plan for replenishment. A rainwater harvesting system hidden from street view can quietly increase your supply without alerting anyone. And look into water purification, because even if you find more, without the ability to make it safe, you're gambling with your life. Ultimately, water protection isn't just about survival, it's a strategy. You're not just protecting a resource, you are protecting time. Time to think, time to plan the next step, time that your neighbors won't have if they spend their last hours searching for water. When the collapse comes, and it will come sooner than you expect, clean drinking water will become more than a liquid. It will become life itself, and life is something you will have to protect at all costs. Number 2, cooking fuel and heat sources. When the collapse comes, people will rush to find food. But there is one problem that no one thinks about. How are they going to cook it? Without gas lines, electricity, or a working stove, even the best-filled pantry becomes a pile of cold, inedible calories. That's why cooking fuel propane tanks, butane canisters, charcoal, even bundles of dry firewood will be worth more than gold. And if your neighbors realize that you have it, you will have to protect it as if your life depended on it. Because it may indeed depend on it. This is the reality. Modern society has forgotten how to cook without amenities. Most people don't know how to make a fire, and even fewer have the tools to do so safely. When grocery store shelves are empty and the frozen meals in their freezers start to melt, panic will set in. Suddenly, those little green propane canisters in your garage or the neatly stacked pile of firewood in your yard will become more than just extras. They become survival. And here's where it gets dangerous. Fuel is noisy. The smell of cooking spreads. The smokestack can be seen for miles. And in times of desperation, smoke means food. That's when people start showing up, first asking nicely, then demanding, and eventually taking it away. Fuel has another dangerous feature. It can be moved. Unlike a garden, which is tied to the ground, your stored fuel can be taken out in minutes. A few propane canisters will fit in a backpack. A bag of charcoal can be thrown over your shoulder. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. To protect it, you need two things: camouflage and diversification. Don't keep all your fuel in one easily accessible place. Keep a few cylinders or bags of charcoal where you can get to them quickly. But hide the rest in sheds, under tarps, or even in large containers with labels like old clothes or holiday decorations. If you have firewood, don't stack it neatly in an open area like a billboard. Break it into pieces. Some behind the shed, some in the garage, some covered with the tarp in the corner of the yard. And here's the ignored advice. Explore alternative cooking methods now. Solar ovens, rocket stoves, alcohol burners, anything that can cook quietly and without attracting attention is worth its weight in gold. In fact, during a collapse, your cooking method may be just as important as your fuel. A roaring fire is an advertisement. A low-energy, efficient stove is a shield. Think of your cooking fuel as a lifeline. It's not just about hot food. It's about boiling water for safety, heating your home in freezing weather, and keeping your morale up in a world that is getting colder, hungrier, and more hopeless, day by day. Without it, you are in survival mode with a ticking clock. With it, you buy yourself time, energy, and a chance to fight. When everything collapses, fuel is not just something you burn, it is something you protect. And if you don't hide it well, your neighbors may cook your last meal instead of theirs. Number 3, batteries. When the power grid goes down, batteries will become the beating heart of survival. In a world without electricity, they become the bridge between pitch darkness and light, between silence and the sound of a radio broadcasting vital news. And here's the truth. People will not hunt for gold or jewelry. They will hunt for energy. AACD9V and especially rechargeable batteries will become instant currency. A flashlight that you take for granted today will become a lifeline tomorrow. And without batteries, it's just a useless tube of metal or plastic. But it's not just about flashlights. Think about all the survival equipment that depends on batteries. Emergency radios, headlamps, walkie-talkies, medical equipment like portable oxygen machines, and even some water purifiers. Now, here's the dangerous part. Most people will burn through their battery supplies in the first week of the crisis. When the lights go out, human instinct kicks in. They grab a flashlight, leave it on, and forget to turn it off. In a few days, their supplies are dead. Then they start thinking about yours. The risk of theft increases because the batteries are small, portable, and easy to slip into a pocket. A neighbor who wouldn't think of stealing from you today might grab a pack of AA batteries from your house after a collapse. Because in their minds, they are not stealing batteries. They're stealing a way to keep their family alive for one more night. This is where smart preparation makes a difference. Don't keep all your batteries in one big box or drawer. Divide them into several hiding places around the house. Use decoy containers with a few old dead batteries on top and hide the real ones at the bottom. Better yet, invest in solar chargers now. During a prolonged collapse, your supplies will eventually run out, no matter how large they are. A solar charger means you can keep certain batteries alive indefinitely, especially AA and AAA batteries. This ability instantly makes you a more self-sufficient and valuable trading partner. Here's another tip that is often forgotten. Collect unusual sizes. Everyone thinks of stocking up on AA and AAA, but D cells for large lights, C cells for older equipment, and 9-volt for smoke detectors or certain radios may become even more in demand because fewer people have them. One 9-volt battery can be the difference between a neighbor's radio working and complete silence. And don't underestimate the emotional value. In a dark, silent world, light is not just functionality, it's psychological armor. A child who can fall asleep with a small battery-powered nightlight will cry less, panic less, and give their parents a break. A family that can listen to music or news on a battery-powered device will feel less isolated. This boost in morale can be as critical to survival as food or water. In a post-collapse economy, batteries will trade like gold. A pack of AAs can bring you a hot meal, a blanket, or even information you can't find elsewhere. They are light enough to carry in larger quantities, valuable enough to protect lives, and rare enough. When your neighbors realize you have them, they won't ask twice. During a collapse, your batteries will power more than just your devices. They will power hope. And if you don't hide them, someone else will light up their world, leaving yours in the dark. Number 4, cooking oil. When we talk about survival after a collapse, most people think of canned food, water filters, or blankets. But there is one household product that will quietly rise to the top of the barter chain: cooking oil. Whether it's sunflower, olive, coconut, or even that half-empty bottle in your pantry right now, this stuff will become liquid gold. Why? Because oil is not just for frying eggs. It's essential for making almost any raw food edible. Cereals, beans, rice, and vegetables taste better, digest more easily, and provide more healthy calories when cooked with fat. Without it, food becomes bland, dry, and difficult to consume, especially for children and the elderly. A collapse will not just exhaust you physically, it will wear you down mentally. Food cooked with oil provides comfort, flavor, and satiety that simple cooked diets cannot provide. But its value doesn't stop with cooking. Oil has a dozen survival uses that people don't think of until they are desperate. It can be used to treat cast iron cookware against rust, prevent wooden appliances from cracking, and lubricate tools or weapons. In colder climates, it can even be rubbed into exposed skin to reduce the risk of frostbite or to protect against the wind. And here's where it gets dangerous. The oil is consumed. It runs out quickly and is difficult to produce at home without special equipment. You can't just make olive oil in your kitchen without a press and raw olives. Most households will burn through their supply in a matter of weeks. When it runs out, people will start looking for it anywhere. This means that if you have it, you are holding one of the most sought-after post-collapse items. In times of desperation, a pint of oil can be worth more than a gallon of gasoline. Because you can survive without driving, but you can't survive without food. Here's how to protect and expand your supplies. Diversify your stockpile. Don't rely on just one type. Coconut oil has a long shelf life and solidifies in cooler weather, making it easier to store. Olive oil adds flavor and health benefits, but should be kept in dark bottles away from heat. Sunflower oil is cheap and versatile, but has a shorter shelf life. Store it wisely. Keep the oil in airtight containers, preferably glass or food-grade plastic, in a cool, dark place. Exposure to light and heat can spoil it faster. Keep it out of sight. Instead of storing oil in the kitchen, hide extra bottles in unlikely places. In empty laundry detergent boxes, behind cleaning supplies, or in labeled containers that look like they contain something unimportant. Rotate and replenish. Even the best storage methods won't beat time. Use and replace oil regularly now to keep your emergency supplies fresh. In addition to food, oil can serve as emergency fuel for lamps or makeshift candles. Pour it into a jar, add a floating wick or twisted cotton, and you have a light source that can burn for hours. It's the kind of ingenuity that people will pay for or try to steal when the power goes out for weeks. But here's the hard truth. If your neighbors find out that you have a steady supply of oil, while they're trying to choke down simple boiled beans, you are in trouble. Food envy is real, and in survival mode, it can turn a friendly face into a threat solution. Keep your cooking methods a secret. Avoid spreading the smell of fried food outside, especially in the first weeks of collapse, when hunger's at its peak. If possible, cook inside, use lids to minimize the smell, and space out your meal times to avoid attracting attention. In the new barter economy, oil will buy you services, goods, and possibly even protection. But only if you control who knows you have it. In a world where calories mean survival, your bottle of oil is not just food, it's leverage. And if you don't guard it carefully, someone else will enjoy that leverage at your expense. Number 5, prescription drugs. In a post-collapse world, there will be items that instantly make people desperate, and nothing will cause such panic as running out of vital prescription drugs. While canned food and drinking water are the basics of survival, medications like insulin, blood pressure pills, asthma inhalers, antibiotics, and even over-the-counter painkillers will become a form of currency. so valuable that people will give up everything they have to get them. The reality is simple. Modern society depends on pharmaceuticals, and without pharmacies, supply chains, or refills, millions would be at risk in a matter of days. Think about how many people around you rely on daily medication just to function. Remove that safety net, and the urgency becomes deadly. This would not only apply to those with serious illnesses. In a survival situation, infections will spread faster, untreated injuries will worsen, and stress will bring blood pressure and heart problems to dangerous levels. Even basic medications like ibuprofen, acetaminophen, or allergy pills will feel like gold. They make life bearable when everything else is falling apart. But here's the dark truth. If people know you have a supply, you instantly become a target. The desperation of a parent watching their child suffer from asthma or diabetes will override any moral boundaries they once had. That's why protecting these supplies will require as much planning as storing them. Long before a disaster strikes, the best step is to quietly build a surplus. Order refills as early as possible whenever your insurance or pharmacy allows. Switch to mail order 90-day supplies whenever possible. Or work with your doctor on emergency reserves. The less you draw attention to the fact that you are prepared, the safer you will be when that preparation matters. Storage is equally important. Many medications are sensitive to heat, humidity, and light. This means they need to be kept in a cool, dry, and dark environment. Insulin, in particular, needs to be refrigerated. Therefore, having an alternative cooling solution, such as a solar-powered refrigerator, insulated ice cooler, or even evaporative clay coolers, can keep it functional for longer. In the barter economy of collapse, medicines will become an irresistible bargaining chip. A single course of antibiotics can be exchanged for weeks of food, protection, or labor. And even non-essential items like allergy pills or sleeping pills will be valuable to people struggling with stress, dust, and disrupted sleep cycles. But here's where the danger comes in. When it becomes known that you can heal the sick or relieve pain, strangers will show up at your door. Some will come to trade, others to beg, and a few will try to take by force. That's why discretion will be your strongest defense. Keep all medicines in unlabeled containers whenever possible. Keep the bulk of your supply somewhere unexpected, in a sealed bag, buried under rice, hidden in a hollowed-out book, or locked in a container with a label like tax documents or sewing supplies. When you decide to sell, never show the entire stock at once and never reveal the exact source of the stash. Showing small amounts at different times gives the impression that you have less, reducing the risk that someone decides to take everything. In times of collapse, even your closest neighbors may not behave like the people you know today. Survival changes people. The friendly man down the street may become a desperate father willing to break into your house if it means saving his child's life. While it's hard to think about now, ignoring it will kill you later. So protect your medicines the way you would protect clean water and food supplies, quietly, securely, and by not advertising them to anyone who absolutely does not need to know. Because in the post-collapse chaos, when resources disappear and hospitals are shut down, prescription drugs will do more than just keep people alive. They will decide who holds the real power, and in that world, the person who controls the medicine controls everything. Number 6, batteries. When the power grid goes down for good, it won't be long before the modern conveniences we take for granted are plunged into darkness. But while people are scrambling for flashlights and radios, most aren't thinking far enough ahead to realize that batteries will be the heartbeat of survival. They are small, light, and easy to store. And they power everything from emergency lights to radios, medical devices, and security systems. When the stores are empty, every last AA, A, D, and 9V is worth more than its weight in silver. Because without them, most of your equipment becomes dead weight. Think about it. Flashlights are useless without batteries. Walkie-talkies are just plastic bricks. And even vital medical equipment like CPAP machines or portable oxygen concentrators become just expensive paper to wrap. In the first days of the collapse, you might find a few forgotten in boxes or remote corners of abandoned buildings. But the easy gains will disappear within weeks. That's when the real competition begins. In a barter economy, one set of batteries can buy you food, firewood, or a safe place to sleep. People are willing to trade almost anything for the ability to see in the dark or communicate over distances greater than a shout. But here's the catch. Batteries don't last forever even when stored. They can last for years if kept cool and dry, but eventually they deteriorate. This means that the true survivors are those who have thought beyond mere hoarding. They invested in battery systems while the world was still functioning. A good solar charger and a stockpile of batteries can make you one of the most valuable people in your community after a collapse. Not only can you power your equipment, but you can trade freshly charged batteries over and over again, essentially creating an endless barter commodity. But at the same time, this makes you a target. If word gets around that you have working power while everyone else is stumbling around in the dark, you invite desperate neighbors and self-serving looters to your door. Discretion will be your armor again. Keep the charging settings hidden. Run it in a place that is invisible from a distance. Avoid letting the glow of your devices seep into the night. Store extra batteries in waterproof containers away from extreme heat, and rotate your supplies to always use the oldest ones first. When society collapses, it won't be the strongest who survive. It will be the smartest who survive. People who saw value where others saw garbage. Those who prepared themselves before desperation forced them into dangerous deals and risky searches. Right now, each of these items is sitting in plain sight, collecting dust and waiting for the day when they will decide who eats, who sleeps safely, and who goes without. If you start collecting them today, you won't just survive the collapse. You will thrive while others are still trying to figure out where it all went wrong. And if you want more uncompromising survival tips that keep you one step ahead of the chaos, click the subscribe button right now, because the information you get here could be the reason you survive tomorrow.